Hello, it's me once again with another video today, and I thought today I'd continue my Yngwie Malmsteen discography review, and today we're going to be looking at album number 3, Trilogy. Released November 1986, its length is 40 minutes and 58 seconds, its label is on Polydor, genre is neoclassical and heavy metal. Features Yngwie Malmsteen on guitar, bass, the Moog Taurus thing, which is kind of like a synthesizer. And unlike the previous albums, a change in the lineup on vocals. It's no longer Jeff Scott Soto. It is actually Mark Bowles, great vocalist that I've always really enjoyed listening to stuff he's on. It features also Jens Johansson on keyboards, Anders Johansson on drums. Gone is Marcel Jacobs, and like I said in there, Yngwie takes back over the bass. And before I get into this album on the inner sleeve is also dedicated to late Swedish Prime Minister Olof Palme, I believe that is. I know I'm probably butchering his last name, who was assassinated February 28th, 1986. And Yngwie dedicated this album to him. Now, anyway, that's that. Coming off the success, really much of Marching Out, it was always wondered, how is Yngwie going to top the last album? Because that one was pretty damn good and I really enjoyed it. Could he do it? Well, let's see. It starts off with You Don't Remember and I'll Never Forget, which is kind of where Yngwie started to go a little bit more with that commercial side of him. It clocks in at 4 minutes and 30 seconds, has a keyboard and guitar intro, almost Europe-esque, like Final Countdown. Mark Bowles also in this song. You can tell right away from Jeff Scott Soto, it is a massive upgrade over him on vocals. Not that Jeff Scott Soto is bad, and I'm not going to say Soto is bad. He was good for what he was. But Mark Bowles' vocal range, I think, is a little bit more than Jeff's was at this point, and really carried a lot of the material. This song is 100% a breakup song, which once again, getting into that commercial sounding, commercial phase of Malmsteen, he started to go here. From stuff on like Rising Force to this, it's actually quite insane, the jump of Yngwie. Going more commercial from that. I like how the tempo slows to start the solo and starts to pick up again. Love the soft vocal part and how it picks up towards the end. On to song number 2, Liar, comes in at 4 minutes 9 seconds. It's more guitar driven and staccato drumming than the opening song. The tempo has kind of a punk rock, new wave of British heavy metal feel to it. Mark Bowles shines on this song with his vocal range, how he can sing very steady and kind of lower on the register, mid-register, and then really pick it up into the high notes. I love that about him. It's an amazement to me of Yngwie's guitar playing and the solo on this song, and it comes in with a big finish ending. On to song number 3, Queen in Love, clocks in at 4 minutes and 4 seconds. Guitar-driven intro with synth elements, sort of that synth pop, synth metal element type thing. Love how the song slows down to start the vocals, how the song just goes down soft, and then the vocals pick up through it. Has a very catchy chorus, has a melodic solo and picks up pace, and has a lot of peaks and valleys that you notice throughout Yngwie, especially during this era. The peaks and valleys of the solos and how he constructs them is quite amazing, the dynamics of it. Has a big drum sound to it, very much of the 80s. That big drum, you heard it through a lot of hair metal bands. On to song number 4, Crying. Clocks in at 5 minutes 4 seconds. Acoustic intro. Anytime Yngwie Malmsteen on acoustic guitar, I absolutely love. He's a fantastic guitar player. Love the drumming underneath and the atmosphere of the song. Feels like Yngwie is taking you 100% completely on an instrumental journey throughout the stars. Love how subtly the electric guitar, he's playing acoustic, and then all of a sudden, just a couple seconds later, introduces the electric. And it just sounds amazing. and the emotion and ferocity he plays with throughout the song. How he can go from just these really emotional melodic licks into just some frantic guitar work. Just amazing to listen to. On to song number 5, Fury, 3 minutes 56 seconds. Once again, upbeat drumming. I love the guitar under Bull's vocals, how Bull's is singing, but Yngwie is doing this type stuff all underneath. Another frantic Yngwie solo, and that's really all I gotta say about that song. On to song number 6, Fire, 4 minutes 12 seconds. Love the riff with the big drums and bass line. Catchy vocals. Bulls has a very high vocal range. You can really hit those high notes on the register. Like I said previously, maybe something kind of Scott Soto was kind of like Biff Byford of Saxon, but it's kind of like, how would I put this? Mark Bowles to him would be more like a Bruce Dickinson, just an air raid siren singer. Would probably be the best. And it really fits. He really fits the songs better than Jeff Scott Soto, I find, especially on this album. Another great Malmsteen solos with peaks and valleys and just really good dynamics throughout. Actually shows how great of a musical arranger Yngwie Malmsteen actually is. On to song number 7, Magic Mirror. I love the bass and keyboard intro, which is something you don't really expect. You expect more of a, I want to say, guitar intro to it, but I like how the bass and keyboard work with one another. Has some great drumming on it. Fantasy lyrics, which is what it is. It's Yngwie. He's kind of a nerd in that way. Has a great mix of classical and metal elements Yngwie's doing, where it has like he's doing these really great, fantastic, technically sounding classical, but then you just go ramp it up to 11 with the metal elements to it, which gives it a whole different feel. And I think that's something that Yngwie's always been really good at, is knowing when to do that on a song. On to song number 8, Dark Ages, clocks in at 3 minutes and 54 seconds. I love the heavy sounding intro. Once again, fantasy vocals. Has a groovy rhythm. Love how the solo molds together, if that makes sense, the elements he's doing. Has a sing-along quality to it, and has a choir feel like to the end. If you ever heard, I want to say Pink Floyd's The Saucer Full of Secrets is a great song to really talk about that, where right around the end, I know you have David Gilmour kind of doing that type thing, and it's done here with a little fainter, which gives it a more haunting feel to it. On to song number 9, Trilogy Suite Opus 5. Clocks in at 7 minutes and 17 seconds. Has frantic guitar playing with up-tempo drums. Love the melody being played throughout. Keyboard gives it sort of a video game feel. Keyboard / synthesizer. Yngwie is able to let loose. Love the sudden tempo changes. And then the switch to acoustic guitar. Acoustic melody being played is pretty much like an eargasm. It's amazing to listen to Yngwie on this song and just the mood he can set with something as simple as an acoustic guitar. I love how the song picks up, has a choir feel to it, has a headbanging element kind of to it where you just start really headbanging, and the solo around the 5:15 mark until the end of the song proves to me why Yngwie Malmsteen is an absolute guitar genius. Not only on guitar, on arrangements and production. This album is absolutely phenomenal to listen to. What did I take out of this album as I listened to it? So I'll talk about a few points. To me, this album took Yngwie Malmsteen to a whole nother level. Yngwie Malmsteen, by this point, went from being this over-the-top guitar noodling guitar player who just played fast to on Marching Out proved he could do that but also have some commercial elements to it. To this proved, I think, to a lot of people, Yngwie was not just a one-trick pony that focused on just playing fast guitar. He had dynamics, he had range, he had melodies. Fantastic on it. Another thing I like to talk about, Mark Bowles is to me one of Yngwie's greatest singers he ever had. At least from what I've heard of Yngwie. Mark Bowles, where Jeff Scott Soto, like I said, really didn't necessarily have the high pitch. He was competent in what he's doing. I'm not trying to put him down. But I think Mark Bowles is just one of the best singers in metal. Really good, solid. I've heard him in other stuff. He's really good on that too. But I think he clicked really good with Yngwie's music. This album had a little bit more of that commercial feel than the previous album. The lyrics are still there. The fantasy, that's something that really, by this point, it's like, I kind of know what's coming up and I can't wait to get there. Because, to me, it really proved Yngwie matured. And that's actually another point I'd like to make. Yngwie Malmsteen's writing has matured over each album. It's getting better. Like, it's not just guitar playing. Like, even over the last couple albums, like, the lyrics added are working. They're catchy. They're starting to really catch on. And I just can't wait for Yngwie to get there. The only part, though, that there is a couple production issues. I won't lie, it's like where the vocals could have been turned up just a little bit or here and there, so that's really nitpicking. And the fantasy lyrics really, to me, are where it's kind of like, okay, we get it, Yngwie, you like fantasy, you're kind of like Richie Blackmore, who I know is a hero of his, that same type of style, but it's kind of like, okay, time to grow up a little bit and move on. Best song off the album, Crying. Worst song off the album, Fury. Hidden Gem, You Don't Remember and I Don't Forget. And Trilogy Opus 5. My goodness, what amazing stuff to listen to throughout this entire album. Highly recommended. If I had to give it a grade out of 5, I'd give it a 4 out of 5. I really would. It's a fantastic album to listen to. Highly recommended if you've never heard Yngwie Malmsteen. This would be probably the album I would give a lot of people to listen to introduce to Malmsteen. Because it has a little bit of everything. A little bit more so than Marching Out. But, so the final point I want to make off this is the chart success for the first 3 albums. And it's kind of surprising looking at this. Rising Force came out, and in Sweden it went number 14 on the Billboard, or on their charts. In the US it went number 60, and in Japan it went number 19. Marching Out in Sweden went number 9. In the Dutch charts it went 30, US it went 52, and in Japan it went 18. Trilogy in Sweden went 18. In the Dutch charts it went 60, in the US it went 44, and Japan it went 16. So as Yngwie is kind of meandering a little bit in the Swedish and Dutch charts, where he's really making a large stand of his statement is in the US and Japan, which is a big markets for music and especially metal. And it's amazing Yngwie caught on so much there and so quickly. But anyway, that's my thoughts and opinions on the album Trilogy. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on this album. Do you like it? Do you hate it? But anyway, this is me here signing out. Once again, be sure to like, comment, favorite, subscribe down below. If you're new to my channel, go and watch the other 2 on the Yngwie Malmsteen discography review. This is me here signing out. Rock on.